Fallout Shelter tips for beginners. These tips are, of course, for all players. Don't worry about your population. You will get more people. In the beginning, it seems like your population of dwellers is growing slowly, but there's lots of ways to get people, and you will get them. It has to do, obviously, with the time that you put in. The best way to grow quickly is by birthing babies. And I'm sure you've read into how you do it. I had like 60 pregnant dwellers all at the same time because I said, you know what, I'm just going to get them all pregnant and just increase my population all in a giant burst. I don't remember if it was 30 or 60, but it was a large number. Explore the wasteland to get new weapons, outfits, and some caps. So exploring the wasteland is very useful. What you do is you send your dweller out to the wasteland. You can send as many as 10 at the same time. And they will pick up 100 items maximum. And they'll get all your weapons, which you will need, obviously, to deal with raiders. You're going to need weapons. They're going to get you outfits, which are going to get you started with increasing your skills. And they'll get you caps. So I highly recommend you make it part of your strategy. You can get multiple Mr. Handies. They are very useful. I had 3 and then never any more, so I'm guessing that 3 is the maximum. And they're very useful, especially in defending your shelter, putting out fires, and they collect resources. The radio station is not the best way to attract dwellers. I ran the radio station for a long time. It didn't bring that many people in, very few. Build power rooms on the highest floors. They use dwellers with strength, which will help defend the shelter. So you want the power room on the top floors so that when the raiders come in, they have to walk through all the power rooms. Because you're going to be putting your dwellers there that have high strength skill. And they will defend the shelter, and you should give them good weapons also. It doesn't matter if they're male or female. Put storage rooms as far to the bottom as possible. And the reason why is because if your electricity goes off, it doesn't affect storage, but it does affect things like food production and water production. You want the rooms that don't need electricity all the way at the bottom, so in case you have a power shortage. Pets are cute but not very useful. It's just a fact. They have skills and bonuses, but chances are you're not going to need them. They're not going to save you. You will eventually get so much cola you won't be able to use it all. I've probably got 100 cola. Never use it. Because the uses for it, some of them are a waste, and some of them are useful. Like if you sent someone out to the wasteland for 5 days and you want to bring them back, maybe you want to use a Nuka-Cola, but if you're not playing the game very much, then you don't need the Nuka-Cola. The quests are pretty fun. I think the most fun part of the game is obviously laying out everything and also going on the quests. They seem boring at first, but if you dig into all the quests, you're going to find that there's a lot of cool stuff when you do the quests. I enjoy doing the quests. The mysterious stranger can reward you with thousands of caps if you can find him quickly. So you'll hear a piano noise, like bam bam, and the louder it is, the closer he is. And what I usually do is I search for him as quickly as possible. I once got like 4,000 caps. And then you'll hear another piano noise when he's gone. You have to click on him. It's hard to remove an adjoining room. Get your layouts right the first time. It's very difficult because you want to remove an adjoining room, maybe to extend a room or something like that. But people are assigned to all the rooms, and you have to make them all unassigned, and you have to pay. There's the cost of removing and rebuilding. And sometimes when I wanted to remove a room, it might be many days before I was able to actually do it because I needed to save money. I needed those people were working. I needed whatever they were producing. I needed to build the replacement room first. It's a pretty complicated matter. Keep at least one baseball bat for a future quest. There might be other items that you need for quests, but I know that a baseball bat was one of them. Male and female dwellers are the same except for pregnancy. Some of the raiders are very dangerous and can cause a lot of problems. Make sure your best armed dwellers are at the top. I had some raiders come in, the difficult ones, I forgot what they're called, and they killed like, I don't know, 15 or 20 of my people. So be very careful. They can be very dangerous. Use Mr. Handy to fight raiders. He does a pretty good job. Put the strength training room at the top. The trainees will help you defend your shelter. So I put my training rooms on the right side, and I put strength at the top because the raiders would go in there, and the guys that are training for strength in the beginning of the game are better skilled for strength than the rest of the dwellers. At the end of the game, it's not true, but at the beginning of the game, it's true. The game continues to play a small amount of time after you quit. Make sure you have sufficient resources for production. So when you save the game and quit, the game's going to play. I don't know how much longer it plays. Not a long time, maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes. You could become short on resources. You'll load the game again, and you'll see you're short on resources. You can assign weapons, clothing, and pets to your dwellers. Clothing gives them additional skills. Pets have unique bonuses. You're going to need weapons to defend. If you play the game, you will eventually win lunchboxes, cola, Mr. Handy pets, etc. It's not necessary to buy them. I did not spend any money on this game. There was nothing that I wanted to buy. Build food, water rooms near power rooms. If you run out of power, the rooms furthest away will get shut off. So you want your food and water rooms near the power rooms so that if you have a power shortage, your food and water continues to produce. If you have a problem like rodents, fires, etc., you will get worse if you just ignore it and spread to other rooms. So you got to take care of the mole rats and the fires immediately. Pregnant women do not fight, they do not help with incidences such as fires, and they do not explore the wasteland. Don't give weapons to pregnant women, they cannot use them during pregnancy. I have to add something. I had 200 dwellers, and I wasn't paying attention, and my women continued to get pregnant. So I've got a ton of pregnant women, and they can't give birth because I'm at the limit of dwellers, so they just remain pregnant all the time. And you don't want them to have good weapons because they can't use them. And I've got like 30% of my shelter filled with people that will never fight or do anything. Obviously, earlier in the game, you want them to have weapons because eventually they will give birth. But the point I was making is that if you have a really strong weapon, don't give it to a pregnant woman. Give it to one of the guys. The mysterious stranger can appear anywhere, including far back into the room. Click on him to receive a reward. He is the guy with the hat and gray trench coat. So first I saw him, I didn't know what he was. I said, what's that guy over there? Anything that is a strong weapon or anything that might help with putting out a fire, like a skill, don't give it to the women. Give it to the men only. And put the men in the power rooms. Obviously, when you get later on in the game, it doesn't matter because everyone has the same skill. But you're going to have a disadvantage if you give these to the women and they become pregnant and you forget about it and you don't go through and find it. You're going to realize, I had to realize on my own, nobody was there to tell me. It's good that I'm here telling you. If you don't do this, you're going to have to manage your dwellers. You're going to have to spend time doing it, and you're going to have to do it more often. Okay, so those are my tips for beginners for Fallout Shelter. You can go to cheapbooks.cc and look for Fallout Shelter and read other guides, tips, tutorials, etc. And go to video-games-news.com or and look for Fallout Shelter, or post a question here. I read all of your questions and comments, and I respond to almost everyone. If you have any questions or comments, please post below.